And good morning, Newton Falls. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Lynch. I am the city manager here in Newton Falls, Ohio. What a beautiful community and a beautiful day. This is your morning update, which we bring to you on Tuesday and Friday mornings. And it comes to you at no cost to the taxpayer. Thank you to Gregory Films for their very, very hard work. Well, a lot of great things are happening in our community right now. But before we get to the body of our broadcast, because this is the kind of broadcast in which the fur will be flying. You'll understand that in just a moment. But I want to make sure people had an idea of somebody to keep an eye on in Newton Falls. The Newton Falls girls varsity volleyball team is having an outstanding year. I got a chance to see their game over at Crestview yesterday, and although they weren't successful there, they've had a very, very successful season. And one of the reasons for that is that something very special is happening with one player in particular. Her name is Bree Hudson, and she has developed an extremely powerful methodology of doing what they call in volleyball, and it's probably politically incorrect, but it's called a kill, and that's when you powerfully hit the ball over the net where no human can possibly deal with the hit that you have. But it's been a very powerful technique she's developed, and as a result of that, I have nicknamed Bree Hudson Admiral Boom.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Cool. There's a fair queue of nannies outside, sir. Shall I show?
And that's in.
Admiral Boom!
That's it.
Admiral Boom!
Yes, that's why I call her Admiral Boom, because when she hits the ball, it's like that cannon from that Mary Poppins segment that Admiral Boom fires on the roof of his home right near the Banks' house. And by the way, last night when I was at Crestview, when Brittany would have one of those powerful kills, I would yell from the stands, boom. So everybody should understand, I wasn't booing. It wasn't a boo, it was boom. Because that's what happens when Bree Hudson hits the ball. Keep an eye on that young lady this season. She's going to continue to do some pretty amazing things, as will all of the volleyball team. Courtney Hankins, Atlanta Spollinger, another senior, having tremendous years, and Christina Baker, the coach of that team, who brought them into the position of being district champions, is really cultivating a fine group of athletes over there in the Newton Falls volleyball team from the girls. But keep an eye on Admiral Boom. Well, folks, we have a lot of great things going on in our town. And I said today's segment would talk about the way the fur's been flying. And by that I mean we recently have brought into our department a brand new member of the department. And it's probably politically incorrect to say this as well, but this individual is brought in as an officer in our department because he is handsome and powerful and speedy. And that's why I'm proud to introduce at this time, under the fine tutelage of his caretaker, Detective Steve Lighton, Cato, and I refer to him as Cato the Wonder Dog. The newest member of our department on our live line right now is Detective Steve Lighton. Hello, Detective Lighton. How are you this morning?
Good morning. How's it going?
Great, great. Well, I call Cato the Wonder Dog because in the short time Cato's been with us, he's performed a lot of wonders, hasn't he, Steve?
Oh yeah, he's been a huge asset.
Sure. Steve, tell us how we came to get Cato and what kind of breed he is, and some very descriptive elements of Cato.
So we got Cato from the trainer, where I spent 6 weeks. Not necessarily training him as much as they trained me.
Yeah,
but,
right.
So we started June 22nd, and that went until July 31st. So it was 6 weeks of them trying to train me, like I said, and he's originally from Slovakia, and then the breeders there sent him to Holland, where he was purchased by our trainers and brought here to the United States.
That's amazing. So born in Slovakia, trained partially in Holland, transferred to the USA for additional training, and now Cato actually lives with you. You go home with Cato, don't you?
Yeah, he comes home with me every day.
Yeah, and in my experience in these canine units, there's frequently a very close bond formed between the police officer that is the director, I'll say, or handler of the canine. A very close bond is formed. Do you find that happening with you and Cato?
Yeah, and it was the first time we met really started. I kind of when I went out there to pick out a canine to be my partner, it was I liked two, and Cato was one, and there was another one. And after I watched them work, I got to take them both for walks. I took the other dog first, and he just didn't really seem to care that I took him for a walk. And then they brought Cato out, and immediately he jumped on me, and he was licking my face, and he just looked so happy. We went for a walk. We came back. I tried giving the leash back to the trainer, and he just did not want to leave me. So I knew at that point, I said, okay, I've been picked. I came here to pick a dog, but I actually got picked.
Yeah, he picked you.
So,
by the way, I understand the two of you were sort of like the Caped Crusader and his assistant Boy Wonder. I think we have a photo of that. There we go. The Batman and Robin routine. So you two really have become partners. Is that a good way to say it, Steve?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us what kind of things Cato is doing for our department.
So he sniffs out illegal narcotics. He is a tracking dog, so that doesn't always just have to be a bad guy. If somebody runs, we can track. But at the same time, if someone who may be a danger to themselves, maybe not by their choice, but maybe they have a medical condition that makes them a danger to be away from the home, and say they go missing, we can bring Cato out and we can attempt to try to get a track, depending on the time that the person had left. But he is able to recover evidence. So say someone that we're after tosses something, and they think that they can get away with, tossing a gun or tossing something that they stole. Cato will find that too, so they're not going to get away with that either. And lastly, he's trained in apprehension, so he does bite, not unless I command him to. So that would be completely on me.
Sure. Well, so basically, if folks are traveling about with contraband, the fact is that we have a tool for finding out if and how that contraband is secreted, that a lot of departments don't have that advantage.
A lot of places don't. And in the little over 4 years that I've been doing this, there's been a couple times where I asked my dispatcher, hey, is there a canine available? Because I knew I had a pretty good reason to use a canine at that time. And usually the only ones 24/7 with canines are the state patrol, and they would tell me, oh, well, they're in Akron right now, or they're up in Ashtabula right now. So it's a really good asset for our, not only Newton Falls, but our area, for, other police officers in different townships or villages, and who may have experienced the same thing. So we're able to assist them.
And Steve, is it fair to say, and again, I'll call him Cato the Wonder Dog, is an asset in terms of an ambassador of goodwill with the public? In other words, you could go to a school assembly program, and little kids especially, they love the idea of being able to interface a little bit with a police dog. It really is a good public relations tool, isn't it, as well, Steve?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we plan on doing public demonstrations and things like that. That's something that we're definitely going to do, throughout the time that he's active and working with us with the department. And that way the public gets to see, what he can do, how he does it, spend a little time with people. He's like most people, most people don't want to spend too much time with other people. He's kind of the same way, and he'll let me know. He'll let out a soft little growl, and that lets me know, okay, we're done for the day. Yeah. But it doesn't mean he's going to bite anybody. He's just kind of, in my mind, he's telling me, hey, let's go. He likes
to communicate with you, right, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Steve, we talked about the fact that wonderful pooch comes home with you. What did your wife say when you said, my dear, we're going to have a new member of the family?
At first, because this talk started about 3 years ago, when the chief asked me. And so I said, well, I'll talk to my wife about it. And at first she was completely on board. She couldn't wait for it to happen. Yes. And then, we start talking to other people about it and trying to see what our life is going to be like. And she kind of was on the fence for a little while. But we both agreed this would be a really good opportunity and something that would really help out the community and the department. So sometimes I think he likes her more than he likes me. So it's been great.
For her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Steve, when I look at Cato, and I've met him on a couple of occasions, he appears to be some form of shepherd. What is the breed or breed mix that Cato is?
He's a Belgian Malinois.
A Belgian what?
Malinois.
Malinois. Okay, it sounds like almost like a French word, which makes sense coming from Belgium. It's an unusual breed, I take it.
Yeah, they're kind of becoming more popular in America, I guess, as even as people that want them as pets. But they're he's a little bit smaller than a shepherd. I want to say he'll probably get around maybe 70 pounds or so. Mm-hmm. He's 64 right now. He's a year and a half old, and he should be fully grown here in a couple months.
Wow, that's outstanding. And last but certainly not least, Steve, you have some gratitude to express to the community, I know, because I've been to a number of fundraising events, and the community actually stepped up to the plate and provided some partial funding to make it possible for us to have Cato, didn't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't believe how much support we had and everything. I mean, just at our fundraiser, just going around talking to people, and I got to hear a lot of people's concerns about it, and hopefully I got to kind of settle those a little bit, because it really is it's a big investment, and I understand that because that costs a lot of money, and I want people to understand that he will be used all the time. I'm constantly going to be training with him, so he's in tip-top shape and form. So I hope that I was able to explain to most people that, hey, I'm not just going to, he's not going to just sit in a car for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. If we have a break in calls, and maybe there's not a lot of traffic moving around and no other department is calling us asking for help, then we're going to get out of the car and we're going to go train on one of his skills just to keep him fresh and sharp.
All right. Well, listen, Detective Steve, thanks so much. Having Cato is an unbelievable asset, but not an asset we can take advantage of unless someone on our department steps up to the plate, says that I'll take the animal home, train him. It's not an easy task to have this additional level of responsibility put on your shoulders, but I know everybody in the department, city council, throughout the community says thank you to you and, of course, to Cato. Thanks so much, Detective. You have a great weekend, all right?
All right, you too, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. That was Detective Steve Lyden. Thanks to him, and also thanks to Cato, the newest member of the Newton Falls Police Department, and thanks to the community. You really stepped up to the plate. You saw the video about one of the fundraisers, breakfasts and other activities to raise additional monies to make it possible for us to be one of the most efficient law enforcement units in the northeastern Ohio area. And thanks again to Chief Gene Fixler. This was his brainchild, and he didn't let go of it. And now you see the wonderful fruits of his determination to add another outstanding asset to our police department. Well, speaking of outstanding assets, we have them in the community, as I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, in the athletic area. And Tom Gregory and his crew were able to capture some outstanding video of another great athletic movement here in Northeast Ohio, and that is the Newton Falls Tigers cross-country team. Tom, let's see a little bit of their activity at a recent meet.
Give me a nice wave goodbye.
The cross-country team from Newton Falls High School. Very impressive bunch of young folks that will be making their mark in the area of sports as well. I also want to say, if you saw that the finish line there at Boardman High School, there was a banner sponsored by Merrill Lynch. I want to thank my Uncle Merrill for coming up with the funds to help sponsor that program. Well, in any case, we've had great things happen, and even greater things are going to continue to happen related to our high school, because tonight, Gregory Films, in association with Newton Falls Television, will be broadcasting live the Newton Falls Tigers' first home game of the season. Brookfield will be visiting Tiger Stadium. The pregame is at 6:30. The game starts at 7, and we will be broadcasting that live from Newton Falls Tiger Stadium, and it will be seen on Spectrum Channel 1023, Facebook, and YouTube Live. I'll be there. You be there if you can. There are limitations because of COVID, but don't let those limitations keep you from seeing the game. Watch it live on Spectrum 1023, Facebook, or live on YouTube. There's nothing like Newton Falls Tigers football. We know that fall season is upon us when football is with us as well. Well, folks, that was kind of a long program, but one with a lot of great content. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back again Tuesday with another new program, as we do Tuesdays and Fridays around 7:30. As I say at the end of each one of these broadcasts, God bless America, and God bless the city of Newton Falls.